Injuries and risk assessments. Risk assessments are carried out to ensure the playing area is safe, and of course all the equipment is also safe. A risk assessment is normally carried out by whoever is in charge of the activity, whether it's a referee, the PE teacher or a coach. If a hazard has been identified as a risk, then precautions are put into place to prevent it turning into an injury. For example, in a swimming pool, lifeguards are put on duty to ensure the safety of all swimmers when taking part in swimming. The risk assessment will also identify if the instructions are going to be followed correctly. For example, in javelin, it's really important that participants only throw the javelin when told to do so, and of course only go and collect a javelin when told to do so. Otherwise, if they didn't follow instructions, injuries could occur. The use of protective equipment is really important in order to limit any injuries. For example, in amateur boxing, they wear headgears to prevent concussion injuries. Goalkeepers in hockey wear padding all over the body to prevent any injuries occurred by the hockey ball. Cyclists wear helmets. People go rock climbing, make sure they have the safety equipment of a harness and ropes and also a helmet. All of these protective equipment are there to ensure the participant doesn't hurt themselves. Using the correct technique is also important in order to prevent injuries. When lifting, we must make sure we bend our knees, keep our back straight and hold a heavy object close to us. And if it's too heavy, we must ask somebody else to help us. It is really important you play at the correct level. If you're a beginner at rugby, you do not want to be playing against people of an older age group who are more experienced, because then you might get injured. It's also important you abide by the rules. You must follow the rules of the sport. For example, in netball, you must make sure your fingernails are cut to the correct length so you don't not scratch anyone and cause injury. You must make sure you remove jewellery so it doesn't get caught in the equipment and injure you or somebody else. For example, earrings getting caught in a trampoline and causing them to bleed. Warming up can prevent muscles being torn when they're overstretched. A warm-up is made up of two different parts. Firstly, the aerobic part is carried out, which involves warming up the muscles and increasing the heart rate to prepare the body for the exercise. Secondly, the muscles are then stretched, which helps prevent injury and prepares them for the work they'll be carrying out. A cool down is then carried out after exercise to help reduce the build-up of lactic acid in the muscles and return your heart rate back down to its resting state. Even after taking all these precautions, injuries can still happen. Anybody can suffer from a cardiac arrest at any time. And if this does happen, 999 must be called immediately and CPR must start. Sports performers can suffer from heat. It can be too hot and cause heat stroke and heat exhaustion and can of course lead to dehydration. But also if you're too cold, your body can completely shut down because it's suffering from hypothermia. Asthma. Asthma is an allergic reaction to dust and pollen and can make it really difficult for a sports performer to breathe out. This may result them in panicking and of course eventually stop breathing. An inhaler must be carried with them at all times. Concussion and compression are head injuries and they can result if a sportsperson is being hit on the head. Please seek medical attention immediately if this has happened. Sprains and strains. The easy way of remembering the difference between the two is T in strain stands for a tear. It's a tear of a muscle, whereas sprain is an overstretching of a ligament across a joint, normally an ankle. The treatment for sprains and strains are exactly the same. It is RICE. R stands for rest, I stands for ice, C stands for compression, and E, elevation. Make sure you elevate it above the heart. A fracture is another word for a broken bone. If you suspect somebody has broken a bone, make sure you stop moving it now. Immobilise it immediately and then seek medical advice. Minor injuries, blisters and abrasions. Blisters are caused by friction which produces a layer of fluid under the skin. Long distance runners can suffer from blisters in their feet when it's rubbing against their trainers. And abrasions, well, abrasions can occur if you fall down and you scrape your skin.